we need to discuss arguably the most embarrassing playoff loss in Cowboys history. Did you know they're 5-13 in the playoffs since 1996 when they won their last Super Bowl? That is the fourth worst number in the NFL. And yeah, it's worse than the Texans. Since the Texans entered the NFL in 2002, they have 5 postseason wins to the Cowboys' 4. Since 2011, the Texans have 7 division titles to the Cowboys' 5. And then to get just smoked. They were down 27-0 at one point by Jordan effing Love. This wasn't Aaron Rodgers. This wasn't Brett Favre, who honestly ended the Cowboys dynasty in the late 90s during his little 3 MVP in a row run. This is not then. This is today. A quarterback who's clearly not in the same conversation as those two. Maybe he will be. He has had a nice stretch to finish the year. That guy killed you. I know, I sound a little bit mean right now. Maybe I should extend an olive branch because I do have a solution for Cowboys fans out there. If you've seen Sarah McLachlan ads for the ASPCA, the Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals. Remember those advertisements? She'd be like holding like a sad little cat or a dog, and they play Arms of the Angels in the background. And then they show like really sad images of like a dog shivering and a cat shivering, and it really makes you upset. Well, I know a lot of Cowboys fans out there are feeling upset right now, and you're putting yourself through pain that you don't have to go through anymore. So here is my olive branch to you. Are you a long-suffering Cowboys fan?
I've spent over $20,000 from punching TVs the last 30 years.
Did you really think that things would be different with Dak Prescott and Mike McCarthy?
My wife left me because I can't stop crying.
Do you feel crushed by the knowledge that Jerry Jones will own this franchise until he's dead and gone forever?
My Yankees aren't even good anymore. The Lakers are combusting. Duke sucks. What am I gonna do?
Well, stress no further, because the Houston Texans bandwagon is here to welcome you with a warm embrace. They've got more playoff wins than the Cowboys since 1996, despite not starting until 2002. They've got more division titles than the Dallas Cowboys since 2011. And of course, they represent Texas. It's an easy transition for a difficult time in your life. And it may be humiliating to admit that you've been rooting for a false god. But it's okay. We're here for you. Join the Houston Texans bandwagon today. We're welcoming you in with a warm embrace, a big hug. You can jump on the bandwagon. They won't be able to hurt you anymore if you jump on. There's nothing wrong with following the strong. And yeah, it's the Houston football team, but they're the Houston Texans. What have the Cowboys done for you recently? What's changing next year? Why will next year be any different than last year? Why was last year going to be any different than the year before? Why was the year before last year going to be any different from the year before last year? You're locking yourself in a fart chamber by continuing to stick with this team. You can join us. I think it's totally acceptable. If you know a Cowboy fan in your life and you think they're sad, you think they're upset, tell them, hey, have you heard about the word of the Houston Texans? Have you heard about the word of not Jack Easterby, of Cal McNair and Hannah McNair? And sometimes Carrie? Have you heard about the word? Yeah, you might sound like a Jehovah's Witness or a Mormon or something like that. There's nothing wrong with that. Those people are just trying to spread love and joy. And you're trying to do the same thing. Now, there are some stipulations. If they join the Texans bandwagon right now, right as things are about to get crazy, like there's no going back. And you can't do this thing that Josh Beard does where he's rooting for both. No, you can't do that. There's a Houston Dallas dynamic. You can't do that. You got to pick one or the other. But, I mean, the Cowboys aren't America's team anymore. I mean, it's been a really long time since they've been a threat. I mean, what do we remember the Cowboys for the most over like the past 20 years? Tony Romo fumbling a snap in a playoff game? Dez caught it. I mean, like they weren't going to give up a game-winning touchdown drive against Aaron Rodgers right after that happened. That's 20 years. 20 years. Lots of money, big old stadium, lots of attention. A surprising amount of attention considering how long it's been since anything's happened. Join the new shiny thing. Join the new club. The NFL changes. I'm a Patriots fan. It's going downhill for me too. Like I might be jumping on this Texans bandwagon like completely. Right now I'm like, I'm dipping my toe in the water. But it's different for me because, I come from winning. Unlike Cowboys fans who haven't won in a really long time. This happened at halftime of Cowboys-Packers. This is when the Packers were winning by a lot. I think it was 27-7 at the half. Jimmy Johnson, unprompted, just goes on a rant, and he was clearly bothered, and everyone started making fun of him and making light of the rant when it was all said and done. This is amazing.
But I'll just say this. Every single one of you know how hard we've worked. I don't need to have people pointing the fingers one thing or another. You get your rear end in there and you play the way you know how to play. We can win the game. We're going to open it up. We're going to go fast tempo. Defense, get after Jordan Love. You can't give him that much time. You do what you're supposed to do, we'll win this game.
All right. That got Michael fired. He's got everybody fired up.
And Michael Strahan got in a 3-point stance right in front of Jimmy Johnson.
And then Gronkowski ran to the other side of him like he was going to block.
Right. And Jimmy Johnson, his mood did not lighten. His face did not brighten. He was pissed. Like he was like, oh, now they're making fun of me right now. And it's funny because now Jimmy Johnson and the Cowboys have made amends. Like they honored him in the Ring of Honor, and he and Jerry Jones are probably cool with each other again. But then Jimmy Johnson and his beautiful coiffed hair see that, and they have an epic meltdown on Fox. There also was a Cowboy song courtesy of Stephen A. Smith, who is arguably the most prominent Dallas Cowboys hater out there. Here is Stephen A. mashing together a bunch of his takes about the Cowboys over the years into a hot beat.
Kick my music, please. Mediocre team and Big D. That's what makes this funny. How about the Cowboys? How about the Cowboys? Some way, somehow, when they count, just wait. They will let you down. The accident, they will mess it up. Just wait. The accident, they will let you down. Just wait. The accident, the accident, the accident, waiting to happen. It will happen. I predict they're gonna be irrelevant.
Again, like I was telling you before we played this, better than it has any business being.
Yeah.
It's not like terrible.
This is what they do. Show up on
This would have had 150 million YouTube views in like 2011. It's
Yeah.
a very 2011 parody song.
The beat is very good. Not gonna lie, I kind of want to go to the club and grind on some biddy.
How about them Cowboys?
How about them Cowboys?
Way better than it had any business being.
That wasn't bad. So it's been a fun day of making fun of the Cowboys. And again, Cowboys fans out there, you've got until Saturday, January 20th at 3:29 Central Time to abandon the Cowboys forever and become a Houston Texans fan. And I think it's socially acceptable. The Texans have CJ Stroud. The Texans have DeMeco Ryans. They won the first game that they ever played in the playoffs. And we'll see what happens on Saturday against Baltimore.